Stargate project.
Yeah.
So
There
that
was
it
a few
definitely,
different names. Yeah, there's Grill
yeah.
Flame, I think was another one.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, as far as the success rate, like that's why I initially brought up Joe. I think it was him or one of the other Skip Atwater or somebody who said that they had an 80%
Psychic
return
headhunter.
customer rate. So
Yeah.
if you got 80% return customer rate, like you're doing something right. Like
Uh,
you don't
Yeah.
get that kind of and that doesn't mean that the hit rate is 80%. The thing with remote viewing is like even the pros are kind of, at least when it comes to sort of binary choice type yes or no stuff. For example, gambling on sports and things like that.
Yeah.
You'll hit like, say, if you're hitting 60% consistently, you're doing good. And then for
Right.
targets where you're really just trying to get data about something, the 80% reasonable, I think, for people who are as in 80% of the data you pull down. If you're good at this, it's going to be
You know what?
relevant data.
You know what? You just made a really good. All right. I hate to do this to you, but I'm gonna. And I think it's because you can take it.
I can take all kinds of things.
If if you brought up the lottery,
Hmm.
if there was something to this, legitimately, again, I, I'm not I'm not here to decide if it's real or not. I have my belief, right? I always let the audience determine what they believe. I'm here
100%.
to just facilitate the question.
Yeah.
Why isn't every psychic rich? You talked
Yeah.
about sports gambling in general. Why
Yeah.
isn't,
Yeah.
if that's the case, why isn't every single person with these abilities winning jackpot lotteries?
Well, there's a few theories on that, and believe me, I have tried it myself. And something we all run up against when we try to do the lottery is this weird phenomena where, say I'm doing a pick three and the winning numbers are 3, 4, 5. Um, I'll get numbers. I'll get like 3, 4, 6, or I'll get like 3, 3, 6, or it'll just be off by one, or all of them will be off by exactly two, or some weird stuff like that where it's
Right.
like, yeah, you're on the right track, but no, you're not getting this money. Like it's so weird, and there's a lot of
Could it
theories
be?
around that as to whether. So theory number one is that it's a limiting belief on the part of the viewer where they just don't believe that they can actually win the lottery. And for small amounts, like people have won small amounts all over the place. I know lots of them. I've hit the pick three once or twice. Usually when I don't actually buy a ticket, which again
Ironically.
goes back to this weirdness,
Ironically.
right?
Yeah.
And I can send you some stuff. You can flash it on the screen. Some of my hits where it's like my ticket and then the winning numbers from that date. I've
Hell yeah.
recorded it
Hell
all.
yeah.
I get like one. I get 2 out of 3 on the pick three more often than I don't. It's bizarre. Um, as far as bigger lotteries, it almost seems to be like an aspect of fate. Like if you're not meant to win millions of dollars, you're probably not going to. And I think that may
Ooh.
just be like a life path kind of thing.
Faded.
Like for example, one of my buddies, Daz Smith, he's a great remote viewer and like world class. And he always says, if I won millions and millions of dollars, I'd never remote view again. I'd just be off on a beach somewhere drinking margaritas or whatever. So,
So
and
could that,
maybe he's meant to do more than that. I suspect he is,
I was
and
gonna
and
say,
so is anybody else, right?
could it be that that phenomena is not allowing it to be done for selfish reasons? I mean,
Yeah,
if
it,
we're
it's
going,
it's quite
if we're
possible.
going down that line, we're crossing it anyway.
Hmm.
So there's no, you know what I mean? If this is real, then there, what's to say w- uh, uh, what makes sense or not, right?
Yeah,
Because if remote viewing's all 100% legit, right? We're down the rabbit hole at that point. And I
yeah.
think it is. I think it is legit. I think there are people. I've had people like Kim Rhodes on the show. Another psychic. I've interviewed mediums, psychics, and I mean, there's something there. I know it. I know it.
there are some, maybe we should talk about that, like the implications, right? Like, so with remote viewing, time doesn't matter. Like you can remote view Mars a million years ago. You can remote
Or a
view,
million years from now.
or a million years from now. You can remote
Right.
view the magazine that's coming out next month, which I did a few weeks ago. You know, time doesn't matter. Like it we get, this is what remote viewing has kind of done to me, is it's forced me to sort of look down other rabbit holes about, you know, some of the really deep spiritual concepts and stuff, like this idea that there is no time, there is only the eternal now, which is this ever unfolding fractal hologram or whatever. Or you know,
Right.
the kind of similar idea of unity consciousness, that everything, you know, is connected. And I you know, when you look at how remote viewing works, and I mean, I believe it works. Again, I'm not trying to convince anybody either. It's really the best way to convince yourself one way or the other is to try it. And I would recommend to anybody, you know, if you're skeptical, give it a go, and then see where you land.
Yeah, and there's
But
places
yeah,
like the Monroe Institute you can go to
yeah,
and learn
yeah.
it.
And I've done a lot of the Monroe meditations. They're great. Like the Monroe meditations kind of center around binaural beats, and like I'm a record producer. I know
So like
lots
what,
of tricks about
syncing your
audio.
brain,
Yeah, so
hemi syncing?
hemi-syncing is really just taking uh, a dominant frequency on one side of the stereo spectrum and another one on the other side, and shifting them by a certain number of hertz, which is the
Okay.
measurement for frequency.
Yeah.
So say I've got 100 hertz over here and 106 hertz over here. My brain is going to correct that difference and synchronize to a 6 hertz, uh, which is a theta brainwave state,
Right.
which is super effective. And because
You
remote viewing and psychic stuff all seems to work in those sort of lower bandwidth, or rather lower frequency brainwave states. So the states are delta, which is when you're kind of in a deep sleep. And now I got somebody at the door.
battery. Get your herbals Biomind. Introducing the ultimate cognitive enhancement solution, Biomind. Today's video is exclusively brought to you by our sponsor, Adentia Herbals. Unlock your brain's full potential with a powerful blend of 9 meticulously selected plants and mushrooms, each backed by peer-reviewed research for their cognitive boosting benefits and safety. Adentia Herbal's formula combines organic full-spectrum powders and potent standardized extracts, ensuring that you receive the optimal concentration of each ingredient's cognitive enhancing compound, carefully selecting the most desirable parts of each plant and mushroom to create a harmonious blend that supports your mental clarity and focus. But that's not all. They infuse each bottle with personal intention of improving the lives, the minds, and overall greatness of each of their customers. Because of their commitment to your well-being every step of the way, you're going to get an exclusive 25% off your order via www.adentiaherbals.com using our code TOTALDISCLOSURE at checkout. All the links will be in the description or on the screen. All right, we're back.
Right on.
So thank you. So what we were getting into is, geez, God, I lost my train of thought.
Deep esoteric meaning.
Oh, hemi-syncing. Yeah, hemi-syncing. So the brain
Hemi-sync, yeah.
correcting for the hertz.
Yeah, so there's some research out there about this. Institute of Noetic Sciences has done a lot of interesting stuff, and of course Monroe, as you mentioned. But yeah, I mean, I saw this thing a little while back where you know that TV psychic Tyler Henry, I think is his name.
Yes. Yeah,
So
he's everywhere lately.
he crushes it, man. He's the real
Yeah.
deal. I'm pretty sure. But I watched a show with him and Steve-O from Jackass, and they did a brainwave measurement both on Tyler and Steve-O, on the
Really?
show while he was doing the reading. And what they found was that when Tyler was doing the reading, he was down in the delta range, which is about 4 to 8 hertz, I think. And then he was kind of spiking in delta and theta, which is these lower brainwave states where most people, if you're syncing yourself to delta, you're gonna fall asleep. Like it's theta, the one above delta is sort of where you're at when you're in a deep transcendental meditation. So
And
delta's even lower. That's like deep
and
sleep level.
and if I'm not mistaken, if you remember on the show, it's the spin-off of Skinwalker Ranch. So the episode with Chris Bledsoe, he was syncing his own brain into the data in Delta, and he
Yeah.
was calling in these orbs. So, and it was
Oh, I
the
haven't seen
same
that one.
same type of, yeah, it was the same type of thing where
Makes sense though.
it was almost like when he was channeling these orbs, because then orbs started appearing. His brain was in what you could only describe as like a career meditator.
Yeah.
Like his brain was so off
Delta
the,
with gamma spikes
yeah,
probably.
so low.
Yeah.
You understand that a little bit better than I do, but exactly what you're saying. So not only does it see that we can see things past or in the eternal now, whatever that is, but we could also use it to connect with the phenomenon or
Yeah.
what is in our skies.
I could see that. I mean, like I've had a few experiences with orbs and things. I don't think orbs are craft necessarily. At least the ones
Okay.
I've encountered have felt more like almost spirit entities probably than anything that's particularly alien, I guess, to use that word.
Right.
I've heard from other people that think that they're like portals, and
Mhm.
I've seen some pictures of orbs where you see little faces in them and stuff, like almost like it's like a looking glass, like to another dimension, and something's checking you out. I mean, anytime I have seen orbs, though, I have been likely in a state that is either delta theta kind of thing, because the times that it's happened, the first one was before I knew anything about remote viewing or psychic stuff. But I've been a musician since I was a kid, and the first time I encountered orbs was when I was out in the woods for a week recording music with my band. We were doing like a solar powered recording session on an island somewhere, and we'd actually written this song that we dedicated to the spirit of the lake, which we called Bill Tilden because it was Tilden Lake. And like the family whose cottage it was, like they're like, yeah, we Bill Tilden, and he's the spirit of the lake. It's like, all right, cool. So so we wrote
Wow.
this song
Yeah.
about Bill Tilden
It's a
and
good title.
nature, and yeah, it was just called the Ballad of Bill Tilden. But this is a crazy story. So we ended up recording this song all day long, and as we were getting into it, there was this thunderstorm just on the other side of the lake, and
Ooh.
like deep black clouds, crazy lightning, everything. But we were recording on solar power, so if that had come over us, we would have been toast, right? But it didn't. It just kind of held off on this other side of the lake and blasted away as we were recording. So we ended up finishing the song, and there was some other weird stuff. Like we didn't have any lyrics, so one guy just went off in the woods, came back with like fully written lyrics. Just kind of sat on a stump somewhere, and it came to him, I guess. And then he handed those lyrics off to me, and without ever having seen the lyrics, I just put it up in front of myself, stood in front of the mic, and sang the song. And I think we
And it
kept
just came out.
it was good from just it was a channeled thing. And again, before I knew anything about channeling, but
Wow.
at this point, I'm pretty certain that any songwriting process is channeling, and really
All the
any
greats
any
say
artistic
it.
process. Yeah, like it's every
Dude,
good